around the NBA lately. Welcome to the show. I don't have a name yet for the show. You'd think I would, but I don't. We'll come up with that in post-production, most likely. So insert that post-production, Chris. Anyways, Dom, thank you for showing up. I appreciate that. In the Moment Hoops, the link will be in the description. Little bit late, the Bradley Beal trade. Bradley Beal recently traded from the Washington Wizards to the Phoenix Suns in exchange for Jordan Goodwin. I think let's go back to
the Suns also, right?
Jordan Goodwin, Isaiah Todd also came in that deal.
They gave up Shamet, Chris Paul, second round compensation, and a few swaps, I believe.
Yeah. Handful of seconds, multiple pick swaps. Chris Paul, Landry Shamet going to the Wizards. First thing I thought of when I saw the trade go through was Chris Paul is going to be a Wizard for about as long as I've been a Wizard. He's going to get either waived or it's going to turn into a three-way trade very quickly. Granted, let's be fair here. I think we all anticipated when Chris Paul got moved to OKC that was going to be he'd be out quickly.
That'd be the end,
and then he turned him into a playoff team. So Shad turned Shai Gilgeous-Alexander into in my opinion, contested opinion, but a top 10 player in the league right now. I think Chris Paul, issues are there, injuries, age, contract being kind of a joke. He still has value. When this trade went through, or more so when it was announced that the Suns were looking to just get off the contract with him in general and just get rid of Chris Paul, I was hoping, okay, move Jordan Poole, get yourself some cap space, and bring Chris Paul in to be a six man. Get a guy who can just run the second unit. Where's Sean Livingston anymore? But I think Chris Paul still has a ton of value. Before Malcolm Brogdon goes to the Clippers, people were thinking Chris Paul could go back to the Clippers. I think they'll, if the Lakers are like, you know what, D'Angelo Russell's too expensive. Chris Paul might be the better move. I think there's room for a sign and trade there. So, there is a world where D'Angelo Russell gets traded again and now sits in, Washington, D.C. But I think, we talked about it a little bit before we started recording. This Beal trade, it's just, it's showing how bad the league is in a place of, guys just getting paid money they don't deserve. I'm all for get your bag, but at the same time, that's robbery, and I think, I'm no bootlicker or anything, and I'm pity the billionaires, but it really is handicapping organizations. And luckily Ben Simmons has been the only one that was like, I'm going to sign this insane deal right now after I haven't quite earned it. And immediately I want out. And now a team's just like, well, what do you want me? What can I do? Nothing. Sorry, I've made my decision. I think Bradley Beal, guys like Beal, guys like Damian Lillard. I also want to get your take on this. I believe there is such thing as a false sense of loyalty. I think a lot of people believe Bradley Beal, who spent his career with Washington before now, Damian Lillard, who spent his career with Portland. It gives the illusion that these dudes are loyal. However, it's one of those things where it's like these teams would rather just say, we'll give you all the money in the world, but you're the only one getting money. We just want, people to be like, hey, Damian Lillard's playing. Let's go see a game. Not the Wizards are playing. Let's go see a game. And I think if you're guys like that, where it's like, okay, I get 25 touches a night and I'm making 50 million. Sure. I'll sign. I think it's a false sense of loyalty. And, we're seeing with Dame right now, depending on, what happens at the draft, if, going and getting Scooter, going and getting a Brandon Miller, Damian Lillard might not be happy. It seems like he's made it clear, he wants that pick traded, at least relatively.
Yeah.
So, I kind of want to get your take on that. What are you thinking about, the way the league's heading in terms of contracts?
So I've definitely noticed it's definitely horrible for these small markets to sign these mega contracts. It is like, if you're looking at Minnesota right now, who has 2 really questionable contracts with Gobert, and you have Cat, the Cat especially, because I believe in the last year he's getting like 60 for the last 2 years, which is, I'm not saying he's not a great player. He's great in his own right, but he's not $60 million worth of production. Like,
Yep.
I think maybe there's 5 players in the planet that are worth 60 million a year, maybe. Like, even I would just say Curry, Jokic, Giannis,
Luka, Embiid, probably that's it, really.
That's probably it. But if people like Dame, I understand why they did it to keep him there at the same time, but you also you don't have enough money to pay everyone with these supermax contracts. They're not like, there's Gordon Hayward. He didn't get one, but I know that contract was an issue for Boston for a few years. What else was a big contract? Chandler Parsons. There's all these horrible contracts. 2016 in general, 2017 a little bit, but 2016. And I hope this offseason free agency is nothing like 2016, which I'm afraid as a Thunder fan, because we have a good amount of cap space, but at the same time, I trust Presti to not make questionable decisions. But I do think Beal, in a way, that is true, because every year I feel like he was always in trade discussions, but he always seemed to want it out. And
it feels like a John Collins situation, where it's like every year it feels like, this is the year it's finally going to happen, and then it doesn't.
Turner, people like that. Like, I feel like it was bound to happen eventually, and adding the no trade clause made no sense to me for Washington, because you lose all your leverage. Like, you probably could, like, that trade, I personally think Washington probably could have done better. But also maybe not, because if you think about it, they probably should have traded him after the year they got rid of Westbrook, the year where he had like his best year.
Yeah, 30. He nearly had the scoring title.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
If it weren't for Steph.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so that was the year I thought maybe it's the time to blow it up, because you were an 8 seed and you lost in 5 to the Sixers with Westbrook. You just traded for Kuzma and a few other young players. KCP. And someone else, I forgot who it was off the top of my head, but I don't see why these teams don't capitalize on these players being great at the time, and also having some more age, because now you're looking at Beal, he's 29, he's not as desirable as when he was 27. I mean, you look at Dame, he's 32 now?
32, yeah.
And like, he definitely brings interest to plenty of teams. I just think these teams kind of waited too long to kind of ship them off. Like, Dame, you'll still get a haul for, I believe. You will get a haul
100% because of the shooting,
because of the shooting, what he brings. I don't think he'll have a bad decline. And he's relatively healthy besides this year and
the abdomen, and he had a weird last couple of years, but other than that, he's been healthy for the most part.
Yeah, no issues that are like, oh my God, that's like kind of frightening. But I think these teams are more so the bigger issue of giving these guys contracts, or just not trading them and capitalizing on things like that. I don't see the reason for not trading Beal. I don't see the reason for not trading Dame. Like, this year, if you don't trade Dame and you trade that pick, I think it's a travesty. You're setting your franchise back years. You're not going to win. You don't have enough.
Exactly.
You have assets. You do, but you're not going to, I don't think you can reciprocate it into current day talent for win right now. I don't think you can do it. I don't see it. I don't see it happening.
I think the scary thing with Portland, that's like, it just blows my mind that we're still sitting here talking about it needs to happen. How they still haven't moved Nurkic. Entire time, it's like, this dude's what is he on, a 80 million dollar deal?
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah,
Nurkic is a solid player. He's in that Valanciunas, Steven Adams role, where it's like, he's just old school. And there's a market for Nurkic. Like, if he was healthy, that's someone I think the Warriors should target. There are teams where a big like that provides a lot of help. However, $70 million, who's going to want to pay for that? It feels like again, we talked about this before we started recording. It's like some of these teams would rather just drop salary than sit there and take interest. I think the Ben Simmons thing in particular really has kind of forced people's hands to be like, just take what's available. You know, the Sixers sat for a year waiting for the right deal.
Yeah.
And they essentially made it as far as they would have made it without Ben Simmons. And now James Harden is 1 foot out the door.
Yeah.
Rivers is gone, and Bede's like, you got one more chance before I'm gone.
Yeah.
Tobias Harris is on the way out within the next year or two, I think. Like,
yeah,
now Philly's in a very tough spot. So it's a tough spot. And I think the kind of the back end of that is a team like Phoenix. I think it's also bad for the league when teams go all in and just buy up as many stars as possible and then don't win. Yeah. Because then it almost incentivizes teams like Washington to say, I don't want to pay you. I'm not paying you. Yeah. It's like it almost incentivizes the bad teams to stay bad because it's like, see, paying doesn't actually lead to winning. Yeah. I think it's it's dangerous for the league. And, you know, for Phoenix in general too, it's like you now have 3 guys who front load your team salary so hardcore. Both haven't played 65 or more games in the last few seasons. And you're like, imagine if they all get hurt at the same time. I don't want them to. I don't think anyone does, but like if that happens, they are screwed. Like a 10-game stretch where all of them are hurt, it's over. The season's over.
You're in the West too. If anything can change that fast in the West. So I do agree on that. And it is scary seeing your stars are somewhat injury riddled. Like Booker, first year of him having some injury issues. I don't think that will happen again. He's relatively healthy.
I agree.
Then again, Beal
and KD, man, the legs.
Beal, Kevin Durant does scare me a lot too. But Beal, I don't know. I just feel like he's on a path. Like last year, I believe it was knee soreness, hamstring issues, and just like lingering issues. They aren't like, obviously they aren't like an ACL, Achilles, or anything like that. But they're still just like happen every year, and it's going to be 30+ games for the last 2 years. It's kind of scary. It's just, I don't think you can go without Beal 30 games.
No, but because that's like Beal's contract is probably worth at least 3 role players. Yeah. So it's like when he misses games, it's essentially losing 3 players. Yeah. Like I don't know if that's worth it. I think for this to be a success, you're going to need at least 60 from all 3 of them. Yeah. Anything less is going to just really hurt them. And that's even if they're able to, get enough supplementary pieces. Yeah. So, I think as well, we're, for a team like Phoenix, you really, you kind of just got to move Ayton. I don't think you can. I don't think you can use him. I think there's enough like C-tier centers on the market to just say drop the contract. Yeah, but
I fully agree.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with a lot of these dudes, man. What even is his value? We all know what Ayton is. I think last year was the last year where people were like, if he actually went to Indiana. Yeah. Before Phoenix,
against Dallas, that meltdown, or which one?
No, it was DeAndre Ayton gets the deal from Indiana, but then Phoenix matched it.
Oh, matches it. Yeah.
If he went to, I think people were thinking that was the last opportunity where it was like people had any belief that Ayton could improve and get over that hurdle of kind of being soft. And this year, kind of the year where it's like, let him know that it was worth it. Yeah. Did he let him know? I think he was silent. I don't think he let anyone know. Yeah. I don't trust Ayton. I think it's like, it feels very James Wiseman like DeAndre Ayton's obviously 10 times better than James Wiseman. But I think it's the same thing of like, he thinks he's worth 25 attempts a game. Yeah. And it's buddy, guards post you up, or guards will back you down. Guards will sit there and let you try and post up because they know you're going to pass it.
Yeah.
Even though you sit there calling for it like you're Hakeem,
Yeah.
I don't know what DeAndre Ayton's value looks like because, like with Wiseman, Warriors traded him for 5 seconds. 5 seconds, and technically Kevin Knox, who got pushed to Portland. Like, does DeAndre Ayton even net you 2 firsts? Does he even net you a first? I don't know.
I definitely do not think he nets you 2. I don't see it happening. I think I've seen the Mavericks are super interested. That one I've seen a lot. I think it was Bullock, Hardaway, and I don't know if it was their first this year because I feel like they are picking at 9 or 10, I believe.
10. Yeah.
10. So I don't know if that would net you the 10th overall pick personally in a pretty solid draft.
And I don't even think you should go after Ayton. I think if you're Dallas, take a shot at Derek Lively. That dude's about as league ready as anyone in the draft for rim protection.
I don't see why you wouldn't just go that route. It makes sense to me. I mean, if you're Phoenix and I saw a deal like that, I would take it in a heartbeat. Like, no doubt in my mind. I would take anything that gets me draft compensation for this year. I'll take anything with role players included with it.
Role players or draft comp just so that you can get more role players. Yeah, it's like you got to build now. You have to say fuck the future. You can't try and eat your cake and get your cake and eat it too.
Because he already is on a questionable contract. Like, you just gave him that much money, and that's the way he came out and performed. Because I personally think when Ayton plays, like when he is there and he is mentally in the right spot, he is one of the best centers in the league. Like, we saw a few times where he came through 21 playoffs. He looked like one of the best centers throughout the whole playoffs. He was on a mission. He looked like a beast. He was playing defense. He was doing he was one of the best screen setters in the league or in the playoffs that year. And then this year, it's like, what's going on? He doesn't look intrigued or interested to play defense the same. It's just like, I don't know if it's like a full mindset thing. I don't know what it is. I've never seen anyone really like that. Like, that comes to play on certain days, and then the other days he just doesn't. Because some days, to me, I'm convinced he's a great center. He's a top 10 center. And then some days I'm like, why is he even playing? Like, Jock looks better than him. Like, it didn't make sense to me. Like, I never understood that with someone so inconsistent that should be so much better. They have so much talent and all the potential in the world to be great at their role, but they decide not to be because, I think you're right. I think he thinks he's something else when in reality, he could excel so well at the role they want him to play. And he could be that next piece that takes him to the next level, but I don't think he is. He's just not.
Yeah, no, it's very pouty basketball. It's very childlike where it's like, you know what? You don't want to give me 25 touches. I'm not going to set you that screen, or I'm going to sit there and Jackie Moon pass it right back to you. Like, it's ridiculous. And I 100% right. Like, there were multiple games this year where I watched the Phoenix where I'm like, bro, just bench Ayton and throw in Jock. Like, at least you're gonna get more hustle and more effort, And it's sad because Ayton technically, like, skill wise, I mean, aside from Jokic and Embiid, what center in the league is more technically skilled than Ayton?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think a single one. Like, he's got the fantastic touch. He's a great post scorer. I think who was it? Was it Athletic Alchemy or was it Kenny? Like, DeAndre Ayton has even spoken about it. Like, he's got the Anthony Davis syndrome where he's like, I'm playing the 5, but I'm a power forward. I want to play 4. I don't want to play 5. He's got that disease. So it's like, could there be a world where you slot DA at the 4, put in a rim protector at the 5, and then I look at, let's say Dallas, pulls the trigger for Ayton, and now you still have a shitload of cap space. You let Kyrie walk, target Brook Lopez. Lopez just came off an unbelievable season. Yeah. You get that space, that floor spacer 5 that can also play defensive player of the year caliber rim protection. Throw Ayton at the 4. Now you give Luka 2, a pick and pop partner and a pick and roll partner, as well as a low post guy. Yeah. Now we're talking. Now we're cooking, Yeah. But I look at Phoenix and it's like, it's the same. It feels like the same deal with Anthony Davis. It's like him at the 5. Just, it feels like it's it's holding him back, on top of he just doesn't seem to have the mental fortitude of someone who wants to take the step that he thinks he's capable of. And I think we're all reminded of the Andrew Wiggins conundrum of does Wiggins even want to hoop? And it's like, once Wiggins went to a contender,
new environment
changed 100%. Now he's one of the best 3-and-D defenders in the league. Obviously the incident with his father changed things last season, but when healthy, the dude's 40% and he's playing elite defense.
Yeah, you're not getting that anywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't feel, it's not a, it's a matter of content. It's not a DeMarcus Cousins thing where it's like, this team's shit, just let me get my 40 and leave. It's DeAndre Ayton. Just I don't know how you could be on a team fighting for a championship and just be as unmotivated as him. That blows my mind.
It blows my mind too, because it doesn't even add up. He's too talented to play that way, and it bothers me to an extent because he is so good when he wants to be, and it's just like, why do you not have this effort every game? Honestly, to me, if he were to play his role right, he probably could be like a top 7 center. He could be so much better than what, like, it blows my mind. So
I think he could be the 4th best behind Bam. I think Bam is sitting at 3rd, but because he's so inconsistent offensively, the only thing you can't say about Ayton that you can say about Bam is if the offense isn't going, this dude is elite defensively. Yeah. Let's go to the Thunder. Your favorite team. This is the team I'm imagining you watch the most out of anyone. Yes. Oklahoma City Thunder. Like I said, this team, aside from the Nuggets, probably had the best year. I think if you're a Thunder fan, you're ecstatic of where you're at right now. I mean, I know you guys are probably still hyped about the draft because there's still potential there to get even more guys or potentially trade, because I mean, my only issue that I've ever had with the Thunder since it officially blew up and, we went the Shea route is there is a thing of having too many young guys. And I think that's been my only issue with the Thunder and in general with teams. I was telling you earlier about, the Magic, and sometimes you get log jams because of this, and then nobody gets better.
Yeah.
And so you're just kind of, I think we saw that with Trey Mann a little bit. We've seen that with a lot of dudes where it's like, they're talented young players, but they're just sitting there.
Yeah.
How can you really realistically get better in the league if you're not playing?
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on this past season, and where do you see the future going for the Thunder?
So that was the craziest thing that to me, I was expecting maybe 30 wins at the most, to be honest. I thought it was gonna be another year of just trying to tank off. Well, especially Victor, I was so shocked they even tried to play the way they did, because everyone was saying, "Oh, Victor, Scoot, there's so many prospects coming out that what was the point of play this year?" So I was so shocked that they even came out to play like that. And I'm super happy about it. I think it was a great direction. I think next year, the only thing is if they're kind of having expectations now that they personally, I think they have to meet. Like, I think they have to be a playoff team no matter what.
Yeah, or at least playing. Yeah,
at least playing. Yeah. I mean, I think they realistically in the West, I think they will be a playoff team. I'm thinking anywhere from 6. I think 6 is kind of like a best case scenario, just because you have so many teams in front of them. I mean, I think you're gonna have the Lakers in front of them. You're gonna have the Warriors in front of them. You probably were gonna have the Kings again in front of them.
I think the Kings are here to stay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have the Suns probably. Like, most likely you might. You should. You're gonna definitely have Denver.
Yeah.
You have Denver in front of you. Like, there's teams like that. I am happy, but like you said, it is kind of a worry that there is so many assets that they have that could get they're not going to play. They're going to get stuck because you already have so many great players that are young. Like, I personally think Trey Mann's never going to touch the floor again, probably. Like, and at best, I personally thought he was going to be like a really super solid 6-man. Like, I had expectations for him being a 6-man, being just like instant offense off the bench, but that just wasn't the case. I don't think it's his fault, because like you said, he doesn't touch the ball. He doesn't get any minutes. So how can you improve as a young player in that situation? So that was kind of rough for me to see. I did have expectations for him. I was happy to see Bazley got shipped off. I was tired of seeing him just touch the ball,
especially when Chet comes back. It's like even the potential upside for Basie, it's like, well, that's all gone because Chet's here.
Chet, I'm so happy to bring Chet in. Rim protection was the biggest issue all year, and you're getting a rim protector, which is beautiful, and he's ready to play. I think people have a little bit higher expectations than they should. Then for Chet, I personally think he will probably average 13, 7 and like 1.5 blocks a game. Personally,
I think it'll be minor.
I don't think he, like, everyone kind of has higher expectations, and I think he's gonna fit the role that the Thunder need, and he's gonna be the guy that's gonna bring this team together personally. But I don't see him being like a 20-point per game off the bat. Like I've seen a few people say, I don't see that right away. There's a lot of offense, a lot of options to go around. And then free agency, I don't know how I feel because I keep seeing Thunder are one of the favorites to get Chris Middleton, which
that's intriguing. It's just injuries.
Injuries also. Last year he had a lot, so that is kind of creepy. I know he got surgery right after the season to repair. I forgot what it was.
The knee. He had arthroscopic knee surgery in his right leg.
To get that fixed up. So that is something. I don't know. I hope he wouldn't be seeking 5 years, but I'm guessing he probably would.
If he might ask for the 5-year supermax, but I don't think a single team should give into that. Like, I think max you go 3 years. Like,
that's what I was saying. I was saying 3 years, and you give him like the maximum amount for 3 years. It's just
the injuries. I can't. That's something where anything I'd even say 2 with an option. It's just for your sake and for our sake, I don't really want to lock in here to an absurd deal. I think also that's also a big thing with the Thunder. It's like, even if like the trajectory just keeps going up, these guys are all kind of on the same timeline, which means they're all going to hit free agency at roughly the same spot, which means now you got to pick and choose who you keep.
CBA too.
So the bar is lower financially speaking, but higher in terms of what you need production wise. So did Shea sign a huge deal? I forget.
Locked up. He got locked up. So not this season, last season. He got locked up. He got the Luka Trey deal that they got too. All 3 of them got the same deal. And I think Miles Bridges was supposed to too, but we all know how that went. So
So you guys are good there. I saw some people in the beginning of last season, Shea was on a just incredible start to the year. That like Shea's 24, 25. The rest of the dudes are like 19, 20. So I saw some people saying you maybe even might want to consider moving Shea, which I think is ridiculous. I could kind of understand that just because it's building on the same timeline could improve things. It's just, again, the more you try and go young, it's just like, I don't know. I think Chet is going to help the fact that he can space the floor. You guys did not shoot many threes. You shot efficiently, but you didn't shoot many. Shea's not a 3-point guy. No. Chet comes in. You got way more room to cut. You guys were an unbelievable team at just getting to the rim, moving without the ball. I think that's such an underrated part of the game. And you guys were arguably the best at it. And, you bring Chet in there to space the floor, and now Chet's wide open. So it opens up everything. And I think there's a lot more. Now you got your second year of Jalen Williams. There's just a lot of room to grow, whoever you guys pick in this draft, or trade. I don't know if you're going to keep, we'll see.
I've seen rumors about trading up. I've seen a few things. I don't really know what they're going to do. I wouldn't be too opposed if they were to trade up to like the 7 range, I guess, 7-8 range. And if Taylor Hendricks is there, that would be like a pretty interesting fit. The UCF power forward.
I see him and Jarris Walker as 2 guys where it's like
Jarris Walker would be really nice.
I mean, Draymond, he's a Swiss Army knife. He really is.
Big time Swiss Army knife. But I think with a little more shooting, a little more shooting than Draymond.
Not as passive, defensive versatility. It's like wow. I mean, that's someone where, like sort of how Memphis has the off or the defense to allow Jaren to kind of just roam. Same with the Warriors, allow Draymond to roam.
Yeah.
You know, having Jarris there, he could just rover the defense, and with Chet behind him, it's kind of, you're able to. You don't really have to have him, you know, kind of PJ Tucker himself and sit down at the low block, or just have to go stick on the perimeter. Like, he could just do anything. So, you guys have you're nowhere short of assets. You're not the Clippers where it's like, we're gonna need I'll trade you my car too, just to get a second round pick. Like, you guys have a ton to offer, a ton of young players where it's like, okay, you know, now it's time to start bringing in the veterans that have won, that can lead us on the right direction. So I'm excited for you guys. I'm sure you are. The draft is also going to be an exciting day for you guys, just because, again, potential for trade, but also potential to trade up.
Yeah. So, I think you guys too, though. I think you guys should be excited. 19's not a bad place to be sitting in this draft.
Yeah, Derek Lively would just be a wonderful pick for the Warriors. The fit is it's there. It's there. It feels like Kevon Looney just in spades, because you got the athleticism. He's a real rim threat. Can potentially shoot the three. And, you know, it just gives the Warriors an aspect to basketball they really haven't had. I mean, briefly with JaVale McGee, but that's really it. Like, they haven't had a true athlete that's functional on an NBA floor. I mean, Wiseman was an athlete, but he's not functional. He's definitely the guy I would hope for. But as we were saying before, you know, things went awry. Jordan Walker would also be a dream. Like, that, again, just like exudes Warriors basketball. Someone I can 100% see, you know, multiple sets being run for. UConn definitely did it for him. I don't see a way he would fail with the Warriors. That's just, that seems like, you know.
Funny enough to say, at times, I think you guys lacked shooting in certain ways.
Oh, 100%.
Which is funny to say, but I think at times you guys lack shooting this year. So getting someone like that to be another 3-point threat would be interesting. It would be something I'd like to see. Definitely. You guys go that way.
I kind of hope we do, because, like, you know, even if we don't trade Kuminga, then we move Poole, keeping Kuminga and Moody, that's still a solid core. Still a young core, plus whatever we get here.
I like Moody a ton.
The fact that Moses got DMP'd as much as she did, and then ended up being a main role player in the playoffs, says a lot. And that Kuminga barely got playing time, who played almost all the regular season.
Yeah.
Wild to me. Moody looked like the dude. Which was awesome to see, because in Arkansas, I was very high on him. Arkansas runs very NBA style basketball.
Very much so.
NBA sets, and to see Moses sort of like one thing Athletic Alchemy, he does like Warriors content for the most part. One thing he would talk about with Moses, which I agree, is like Moses doesn't or didn't really understand positional defense. Like, he thinks he's more of an athlete than he is. If you see Moses, the super acrobatic layups, he tries to dunk on everyone. And it's like, he doesn't have Anthony Edwards hops, but you think he does, just with how aggressive he is at using his body. And, you know, he fights over screens super well, but he doesn't have the lateral quickness that a lot of these guys do. So he'll overshoot screens, or he'll overshoot closeouts, and then guys will get past him. But something clicked in the playoffs where he just figured it out. And Steve Kerr is a stickler for defense. Like, the only dude on that roster that Steve Kerr like couldn't justify playing but had to was Jordan Poole. Everyone else played defense. Like, Moses got on the floor because he was playing good defense. Spacing the floor was great, but like Jonathan Kuminga, he didn't see the floor because he just wasn't a good matchup against any of these teams. Like, Kuminga can't really space the floor. His shooting is better than people think. But you know, he can defend, but it's like, other than that, it's just, you can't have Kevon Looney, Draymond, and Kuminga on the floor at the same time.
Not enough shooting. Definitely not during playoff time either.
So, to see Moses really bump his stock up from where it was, because I remember when the Warriors traded Wiseman, I was expecting a package with Moses Moody because he wasn't playing ball. So I think Moses felt like he was going to get in any trade possible.
Yeah.
And right now that feels like the same with Patrick Walton Jr. But no, Jordan Walker, Derek Lively, those are the two dreams.
Lively.
Yeah. He's a freak, man.
Different aspect of basketball if that happens.
Yeah, it almost feels like Evan Mobley, where it's like he's just so ready for NBA basketball,
Defensively, he's gonna be how athletic he is too. He's gonna be able to switch on the perimeter for.
Yeah, he doesn't feel like clunky on the perimeter. He's definitely capable.
He's fluid and he can move. He'll be able to switch.
Yeah, maybe not to Bam's level, but he'll be functional.
That is fair. Yeah, there's only a few guys like Bam, if that.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah, if that's a Warrior outcome, I would look out for the West because
that's a win. That's a win for sure. Moving on from there, this will be where we wrapped up before, but where we'll wrap up officially because we're recording. Thank you, Zoom. Wrapping up with the Bucks. And we talked about this a bit before moving on to kind of just the outlook of the Bucks' future. Potential trades available to bolster this team because we both agree that they're in panic mode and they kind of have to be, you have no draft compensation in the near future. You have, aside from Marshawn Beauchamp, no youth.
No young,
Yeah. No picks, no youth. It's like you build around Giannis or it was all worth nothing. And I think, unfortunately, the injuries hit him at the worst times. They lost to the Heat, but do they lose to the Heat if Giannis doesn't miss essentially all three of the first games?
They don't lose in 5.
At least, at the very least, they don't lose in 5. Last year, they got bumped because Chris Middleton got hurt, and he missed most of the series. And
Celtic too, so
it feels just injuries seem to just be hitting him at the worst time. And all of this season, I think the plus is Chris Middleton was hurt most of the season with multiple things. It wasn't just like, okay, you kind of have a recurring thing that you want to be careful with, like with the Raptors and Otto Porter Jr. It's like, okay, let's just take it easy because he's got one thing that keeps coming up. With Middleton, it was the wrist, it was the knee, it was an ankle. Everything that could get hurt did get hurt. And, for them to still get the 1 seed with that is very impressive. So I think it's proof that you don't have to give up on Giannis. Like you still should build around there. And, you have the depth to be able to do so and still have it function. And I think, my number one move for them would be a double sign-in trade. Get rid of all the dead cap that you have with guys like Crowder and Ingles that are just sitting there and get yourself Kyrie Irving in exchange for Brook Lopez. They need the shot creation. They need a bucket getter. Drew feels very much like a Marcus Smart in the sense that he can score. I think Drew is a way more capable scorer than Marcus Smart, but
I agree. But the attention on him comparative to Marcus Smart, I think with the attention on him, I don't think he's
he's the third scorer. I think
he's a great third option. Second option, I'm not fully sold.
Yeah, and I think because of Middleton getting hurt, Drew really became a second option, and teams treated him as such in the playoffs. Middleton was he was all right. He put up a couple good games, but it felt like he was a shell. And then obviously with the knee surgery that he had right after,
didn't look right.
So and then now you're losing him most likely. You can't afford him, especially if you're looking to get some more scoring elsewhere. Plus you have to decide on Brook Lopez. I think your best bet is thank Chris Middleton and wave goodbye, and then move Brook Lopez and get yourself Kyrie. I think that just timeline wise, that fits. For now, it does. Yeah, and I believe Kyrie's 31. I think so.
30. I think 30 or 31. So
he's not on the latter years of 30. He's still relatively young.
I think he's someone who will age fine. He doesn't really he doesn't necessarily need athleticism.
He's not a superior athlete. No, he's very crafty, and he knows how to score. And it doesn't feel like a Jaylen Brown thing where you can just tell once that dude's legs go, that shot's gonna be awful.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
with Jaylen Brown, it's like once he hits 29, I could just see the shot just disappearing. You know, it's like he's very reliant on his ability to get over guys to shoot. Kyrie doesn't really have that. He just he's like Clay in the sense that if you watch Clay shoot, he just knows when guys like when gravity functions. Like right when a guy jumps up, that's when Clay jumps, like a split second after, because you can't double jump. So Kyrie has that in his game, and I think, you know, pairing that with Giannis, the pick and roll game would be great. Just having a dude that can, you know, let Giannis take a break on offense.
Take the pressure off of Giannis and that is someone who definitely will fit.
And does it at a better rate than Chris Middleton ever could. Not that Chris Middleton was bad, but I think if you're taking, you know, peak Middleton over peak Kyrie, I'm still taking Kyrie. So
easily.
And you're a lot more likely to see success supplementing a C tier small forward than you are a C tier point guard. So you know, I think Milwaukee's got options, but it definitely is panic time, I think.
I'm interested in the new coaching.
True. Who is Adrian Griffin?
Adrian Griffin, the Raptors
assistant.
I'm interested to carry the Raptor philosophy of like running players, like giving them 40 minutes plus, because I know they like to play their players over there like a lot. So I'd be interested to see if Giannis gets let off the leash a bit and he actually will play more than 30, 32 minutes. It's not a lot. I know he doesn't play that much compared to other.
It was very Warriors like, where it's like you've got your set 32 minutes, you've got your set rotation, and that's just what it's going to be for your career. Yeah, Toronto is very, I mean, and that's one of the reasons why Toronto has so many players that kind of just come up, you know, like Malachi Flynn before the injury. It's like Malachi Flynn just out of nowhere. It's like, okay, I guess he's like a Tyus Jones type now. Okay. You know, and like, I guess similarly because of Drew Holiday, who had a couple brief injuries, Javon Carter had to play point guard, and Javon Carter is going to work his way into a good contract.
Yeah, he excelled when he did come in and play. I remember that the game against OKC actually too. He had 36 or something like that.
Yeah, like he's going to play himself into a contract. So I think this is time where it's like you need yourself a scoring guard. Like Drew can score. There's a difference though between can score and I fucking score. You know,
he's not Kyrie. He's not.
No.
Like I do agree, he can put the ball in the basket, but not at the same rate Kyrie can. So getting a new different aspect to that whole team, that would be something we've never seen before, to play with someone like Giannis. I mean, I'm trying to think of another scorer he's played with, someone who can put up 30. Like
no one. Like Chris Middleton was the closest.
23, 24 a game maybe.
Yeah, they didn't even and they didn't even get Malcolm Brogdon's best year. So even when Brogdon was there, like that was still before he had his best year with Indy. So you know, I think that's one that works out well for both. And we didn't even talk before about the pluses of Brook to Dallas. I think Brook Lopez and Dallas might be the nastiest combo of any team. A pick and pop of Brook Lopez and Luka Doncic.
It would be gross.
What's a better tandem?
It would be gross. I do agree with you on that. That would be something. He'll have a lot of fun with him and his shooters. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But I do think I think New Dallas, if they got one more secondary star, and I like them a lot more with Brook too.
I think that like the issue with Dallas is like I can't see a scenario where you get another ball dominant player and it works. You have to let Luka be Luka. It's the same thing with Trae Young. Like you're trying to make it work with DeJounte. It's not going to work. And DeJounte shockingly shoots like 38% on catch and shoot threes.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, but it's like, why are you having DeJounte shoot more catch and shoot shots than Trae fucking Young? Ridiculous. Like you want complementary pieces, not like batteries where you face them at each other, or not batteries, but magnets when you face them at each other and they go the opposite direction. Like that's what that would be.
I agree.
I'm looking at it's hard to like fix Dallas because you need specific players because
Yeah,
you
you
need
need
perimeter defenders and you
yeah,
need like efficient shooters.
yeah, you need
Like,
off-ball scorers big time.
yeah, like,
Maybe Chris Middleton works there. I've seen that for the
yeah,
last few years, but do they have the money? I know they're pretty cap strapped over there too. So that's the thing. I know they have a few
mhm,
contracts. They have Tim Hardaway locked up. I know they have Reggie Bullock locked up.
yeah.
So the few things that are interesting over there. But yeah, like getting a rim protector that will change your defense and make you probably a top 10 defense overnight. Getting
Yeah.
someone like Wilson or something like that, like anything you can do, yeah, that's big. That
Because
is
remember, the year before last season in 2022 or 2021-22 season, that second half from January 1st on, Dallas was the number one defense in the league.
yeah,
Best defensive rating. They were
yeah,
incredible. And that was without Porzingis. Like,
yeah,
they were that good. So, they are not they're not short of being able to be a good defensive team and commit to that end. It's just you got to give them the talent.
yeah,
And you got to give Luka a more sustainable option.
yeah.
Jalen
So I don't
Brunson
know,
was solid, but
yeah,
like, if you last season, I'm thinking like, why not try and pull the trigger on Mikal Bridges when he was in Phoenix? Move Hardaway, move Maxi Kleba, move a few of these guys and bring in Mikal.
yeah. The
Why
pick,
not?
because I mean, yeah, there's so many things they could have done. Even like someone like I wouldn't even hate it, someone like Cam Johnson, even.
Yeah, like exactly. I forgot that he was with Phoenix too. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
even, I mean, you know, I think they learned with Duncan or not Duncan Robinson with Davis Bertans. It's like you probably don't want to just
Oh,
invest in. I mean, Davis Bertans got that money from Washington, but
Washington.
I
Yeah, they
don't
take
think you want to
a
give.
yeah.
You want to get a guy who strictly is there to only shoot
Oh,
threes.
yeah, the
Um,
what's the name? The motion shooters that only are there for shooting.
yeah, the
They're
special, the sharpshooters. Yeah,
yeah,
where no
Pelicans,
value is there outside of the shot.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Like I mean, maybe you take a swing at Duncan Robinson because Duncan actually plays in a good offense where you have to play defense to see the floor. So Duncan, while not being a good solo defender, is a good team defender.
yeah. He was more
Like,
active, definitely more active off the ball this offseason, or than during the playoffs at least. I
yeah,
appreciated that. He was definitely more active in the passing lanes and stuff like that. Just definitely more attentive to how he played defense, and he was definitely putting more effort in comparative to was it 21 when they got swept by the Bucks?
21 and last
Yeah,
season.
and last year he
Where,
didn't even play against
no,
the
yeah,
exactly when they were the 1 seed. So
yeah,
yeah, there's a few things that Dallas will need to do also that
yeah.
I think if you don't, you're playing Luke out of Dallas. So
Exactly. That's
yeah,
why I like that trade for both Milwaukee and Dallas. It's like it saves you losing Giannis. It saves you losing Luka. It gives you perfect pairings.
yeah,
It's
you're
like,
getting value instead of them just walking for nothing. So I
yeah,
understand it. Like you need to get value. Both teams need to get value instead of just, especially Dallas. Dallas is in desperate need of that value. So
mhm,
they don't just lose Kyrie for nothing. Like they
yeah.
need that right away.
That's the main thing I think for Dallas in particular is don't let Kyrie walk. Like
Yeah,
figure
you
out
have
a
to
sign and trade.
get something for him. Don't just let him walk. Because if you do, I
Yeah.
think that's the end. I think Luke is gone.
Because that means you essentially just gave up Dorian Finney-Smith and
And the
who
picks.
else? Yeah.
You gave up Dorian. Was it just Dorian and
Dorian
picks?
Dinwiddie and I think
Dinwiddie.
picks. Yeah.
They gave up 2 first-round picks or just 1?
Maybe 2.
Because was it a 27 and 29? I think.
Something like, yeah, it was later
It's
picks
later
down
down
the
the line,
line.
which
Yeah.
nowadays could be awful for you if you are losing Luka.
Yeah, it's like, yeah,
Yeah, those
Dallas
picks
is
could be very
already
good.
not a free agent destination. They're already not a big spender. You lose Luka, you're looking at 15th place. You're sitting bottom of the West.
You're a bad team. You're
Yeah,
yeah,
but no, Dallas is definitely in more of a panic mode than Milwaukee. I mean, you cannot miss you can't. How do you miss the play-in with Luka and Kyrie? Like not making the play. Okay, you made the play-in. Injuries happen. I get it.
Yeah,
But
I know
missing
that
everything.
Yeah, that was a tough pill to swallow for them. Like
That's embarrassing.
that was
I think
bad.
that's embarrassing.
That was bad because
Um,
I
it
have seen.
proved me right. I said like everyone was like, "Oh, Mavs are winners." I'm like, it's Kyrie. What do you think? Like, hey man, they do the same thing. They both
Yeah,
want the ball. It's like
they both
it
want the
doesn't
ball.
function that way.
Yeah.
It's like the LeBron Russ thing. It's like, do people not know who LeBron James is? It's
Yeah,
like
he needs
his
the ball.
value is with the ball. You
Yeah,
don't like,
same with us. Yeah, like
yeah.
they desperately need the ball in their hands.
Yeah, it's like getting Michael Jordan and telling him to sit in the corner. Like,
Yeah,
why do you even have him? Yeah, it's such a
not gonna
waste.
work out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
no, I agree.
yeah,
I totally agree. I think it was a cool experiment. It didn't work. You failed. Try to capitalize on getting assets. That's your main goal of the offseason. You have
yeah.
the pick. You have a good pick. You have a good pick. You're
You
picking
have the
at
number
9.
10. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
there's a lot of options you can do. You can go get Grady Dick, maybe. You can go get someone
and he's
like
a
that.
fit. He fits. Like
Yeah,
that's
perfect fit.
he's not only value, but the ceiling's there as well. That's a
Hey,
good like
off-ball
cheap
player.
get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
off ball. He can somewhat of a playmaker too. It's interesting.
Mhm.
Luka's not taking some playmaking pressure off of Luka,
Yeah.
taking scoring off of Luka. You can do a lot of stuff. There's a few things you can go, a few routes you can do.
Well, he's an actual shooter too. Like
Yeah.
they're trying to play Luka ball with Reggie Bullock, who's not a shooter. Like he can shoot, but
Yeah, he
he's
can
no
shoot.
Duncan Robinson. It's like,
He
if
is
you're gonna
good.
play if you're gonna play Luka ball, you need to get some sharps there. You know?
You don't need inconsistent shooters. You need.
Yeah.
I agree. I fully agree with you on that. That is something.
If I was looking to really shake things up for the Warriors, I'd say I'll trade you Klay Thompson for Christian Wood and Reggie Bullock. Just I would.
You're right. They got to capitalize on him too. Is he a free agent or is it more so is he under contract again?
I think he's under contract, but I think they're gonna try to move him.
They already said, didn't they? He's gone. I think no matter what, he's being.
Or is he a free agent?
No, I'm saying like they're moving him no matter what.
Oh, they kind of have to. I feel like you need this. They're not gonna like hit the peak of cap space. I don't think so.
No.
It's like
no.
But we all knew it too. It's like these teams just don't make.
That's the only thing about players like Luka. You need really specific players to play with them, which it does suck at the end of the day. Great talent, crazy talented, but you need certain players to play with them. Unlike like a Steph or someone like that. Like Steph, I feel like those guys can play with anyone, but.
Exactly, and even KD, KD is the ultimate plug and play guy. It's like throw him with anyone, he's gonna hoop.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, thank you again for stopping by and doing this. I appreciate it. A lot of stuff going on. The league's going to be pretty interesting heading into this next season. So going to be a wild couple months here.
Big time. This offseason is going to be insane. This free agency, trades, free agency, and this draft tomorrow is going to be, I think, new. Definitely, we say this every year. The landscape changes, but this year the landscape is.
It feels like it 100%. Yeah,
it's changing. It's going to be unrecognizable. I think next year it'll be some crazy stuff going on. So that will be fun, definitely to cover.
Yeah, so much desperation around the league. A lot of teams looking to make this is our last opportunity, so let's make the move.
So many teams like that right now that are just trying to win any way possible, even though. Yeah, you got the Bulls, you have Portland, plenty of teams like that.
Bulls, Portland, Milwaukee, Dallas, Miami. Miami might lose Strus and Caleb Martin.
Yeah, which is a tough pill. I think Martin is stuck. I think Martin has one more year.
Doesn't he have his? I think he has an option.
An option? Ooh.
Yeah, I think he's testing free agency.
I know Strus does. I know Strus is likely gone. But
I could be wrong about Martin.
Maybe I thought he was there another year. Maybe not. I'll have to see because I know they were mentioning trading like Vincent and players like that.
Yeah, the funny thing about that Bradley Beal deal is it's like I don't know how Miami would even be able to like operate that deal without moving both of Hero and Bam or Hero and Lowry. It's like to match contracts, you have to do like one combo or the other. So you kind of get worse regardless, but
I don't think anyone's taking your Duncan contract either.
No,
something back short term with it.
Yeah. With like, here, take 3 picks and Duncan. You know, it's
Yeah.
you have to really
Yeah.
ice the cake for that one. Yeah. But
No, so
yeah, man. Thanks again for coming on. We'll wrap this up here. In the Moment Hoops is Dom's channel. Go give it a like, subscribe, and everything. He's doing draft prospect stuff right now. Again, the draft is tomorrow night. Big things coming. Big trades probably going to happen. Big futures on the debut. So it's going to be fun. Yeah, that's gonna wrap things up. So if you like the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll figure out a name for this thing, and I'll be back with another one eventually. So have a good rest of the week to you and to the viewers. Peace.
Thank you. You too. Same to you.